Empowerment Center International. Welcome here to Fab Friday. It's me, LaMarcus Carter, the pastor here at Life Empowerment Center. And it's my joy, it's my honor to welcome each and every one of you here to Life Empowerment Center here in New Jersey. I'm glad that you decided to join us tonight. I'm glad that you decided to tune into us tonight. Whether you're watching live on Friday night, you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, wherever you're watching, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching a rebroadcast, however you're watching, I'm excited that you decided to join us. We are all excited that you decided to join us. I give honor to God on tonight. I'm so grateful to God for everything that's He's done for me, for everything that He's continually doing for me. I'm grateful to God for what He's doing for you. So I thank God on tonight. I thank God for my wife and children, Keisha Carter and Tania and Layla Carter. Thank God for each and every one of them. And again, I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful. I'm always in awe when anyone decides to tune in and join us. I'm always in awe when anyone decides to hear what God is going to say. So I'm thankful to each and every one of you. Listen, we're going to get into the teaching tonight. We're still talking about Joseph. We're still in the book of Genesis, or as I like to say, Love and Hip Hop Genesis. We're still in the reality show that is Genesis, talking about Joseph from the scope of family forgiveness and redemption. And we're still talking about family values or familial relationships. So tonight we're actually going to talk about the value. We're going to talk about just about value, right? We're talking about value when it comes to family, value when it comes to others. So we're talking about value tonight, but we're doing it in the scope of Genesis. There's a couple of announcements though, before we go any further. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. If you don't know, Life Empowerment Center in New Jersey is under Life Empowerment Center in Wilmington, Delaware. Life Empowerment Center in Wilmington, Delaware, where Pastor Anthony Price is the pastor. He teaches. He's a great teacher. He teaches 9 a.m. Sunday morning for Sensational Sunday. That's available on Zoom. And also Monday morning, we have corporate prayer, which just means we all pray together. It doesn't mean you have to have a business. But we have corporate prayer at 7 a.m. on Monday. That's by conference call. All of that information on how to get in contact with us is on our social media pages. If you want to join the Zoom for Sensational Sunday, you don't have to turn your camera on, but if you want to join the Zoom for Sensational Sunday, or if you want to join us for Monday morning prayer, you can find all of that information on our social media pages. So it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's also on our website, lifeempowersyou.org. So if you want to stay connected with us, I encourage you to connect with us at one of those three avenues. We don't have a TikTok yet. Once I learn all the dances and get them down pat, that's a joke. I'm not dancing. But once I have all that down pat, I may TikTok too. But stay abreast of what we're doing in ministry. There's some great things happening and great things coming together in this year that I would like for you to know about, right? What we live out here at Life Empowerment Center is that life change begins with you. What does that mean? Life change begins with you. That means that the first step or the initial action to true life change has to start with yourself. It has to start with something in you, right? Christ is responsible for the life change, but He's always there. We just have to make up in our mind that we're now dedicating ourselves to it. So life change begins with you. And here in New Jersey, we say that you'll live better, love better, and serve better. Live better, love better, and serve better. It doesn't mean that all your financial dreams will come true tomorrow. It doesn't mean that your bank account will triple tomorrow. It's nothing crazy like that. It's nothing like that. But it's saying that if you learn how to live out life change, then you'll have a more fulfilled life. Your life will be better, right? Doesn't mean that you won't have struggles. Doesn't mean that you won't have issues, but your life will be better. You'll be, excuse me, You will live a better life. And not only will you live better, but you'll love better. You'll love without the hindrances that you did in the past, without the pain of the past. A lot of times we can't love fully and we can't love completely because we have so many things hurting us and holding us back from being able to truly love. So you'll be able to live better, love better, and serve better. Once you live better and love better, you'll be able to serve better, serve your community, and serve the people that you are connected to, your family. You'll be able to serve them in whatever aspect of their lives that needs you. You'll be able to serve them better. So live better, love better, serve better here at Life Empowerment Center in New Jersey. I'm excited about the teaching on tonight. We're going to get right into it. We're going to make our victory proclamation. We're going to be in Genesis 37, 26 through 35. It's the first book in the Bible, so it's like as soon as you open it up, if you have a if you have a hard time finding it, it's the first book in the Bible, Genesis 37, 26 through 35. We're reading out of the Christian Standard Bible. But before we get into that, let's make our victory proclamation. We understand we repeat this victory proclamation because it is powerful and it is letting us know that even in those moments when we don't feel victorious, even in those moments when we don't feel the best, that we still have victory, right? When it looks like defeat is the only option, we still have victory. So repeat after me, you victorious, blessed people. I am victorious. I walk in victorious faith. I serve a victorious God. Therefore, I live a victorious life. For I know God's plan for me is success, abundance, and victory. Genesis 37, it reads as this: Judah said to his brothers, "What do we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come on, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay a hand on him. For he is our brother, our own flesh." And his brothers agreed. When Midianite traders passed by, his brothers pulled Joseph out of the pit and sold him for 20 pieces of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy is gone. What am I going to do?" So they took Joseph's robe, slaughtered a male goat, dipped the robe in blood. They sent the long sleeve robe to their father and said, "We found this, examine it. It is your son's robe. Is it your son's robe or not?" His father recognized it. "It is my son's robe," he said. "A vicious animal has devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes, put sackcloth around his waist, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "No," he said, "I will go down to Sheol to my son mourning." And his father wept for him. Father, we thank you and we honor you for allowing us to be together at this time. We pray that you speak through me, your vessel, to your children in Jesus' name. So we've been talking about Joseph's life, right? And examining his story arc, or examining his life in the areas of family, forgiveness, and redemption. We still are dealing with Joseph and his family. We talked about the first week how Joseph's father showed him favoritism and the way this caused a rift between him and his brothers. Right? They despised him. They hated him. They didn't want nothing to do with him. And last week we talked about his brother's reaction to their father's favoritism, right? And his reaction to their father's favoritism is what we see happen tonight, right? It started last week when they said they saw him, they saw the dreamer coming, and they said, "We're going to take him out, right? We're going to kill him." In tonight's text, we see an interesting interaction with Joseph's brothers and their father. right? Like we're dealing with Joseph, but to understand Joseph in the concept of family and to get the most out of this reality TV show that is Genesis, to get the most out of this soap opera, we have to examine not only Joseph, but examine Joseph's family, specifically tonight, how his brothers, or those that are supposed to be close to him, interact with another person that's close to him, his father. So what we've already been able to establish that his brothers didn't value Joseph. We've been able to establish that his brothers didn't think much of him, right? There's this analogy about a bottle of water, a little saying about a bottle of water, right? And it goes that if you buy a case of water from a supermarket, from like a ShopRite or Kroger's or what's the other one, Publix, wherever you are, if you buy a case of water, you may pay $3-4 for a case of 24 water bottles, right? Now, if you buy that same water bottle, you take one of those out of the pack and you buy only one of them from a store like a 7-Eleven or a corner store, a bodega, it may be around $1 a bottle. So the price goes up a little, right? Now that same bottle of water, if you're in a restaurant, you're eating at a restaurant, and you ask for water, it may be $3 to $4 for that water. This is a low-end restaurant, right? I'm not talking about you at Ruth Chris and ask for a bottle of water, but at a low-end restaurant, a mid-range restaurant, it may be $3 to $4 for the same bottle of water that was a fraction of that when you bought it by the case from a store. Now, in an airport, that same bottle of water is probably $6 to $8. It's ridiculous because they know that's the only choice you have. It's probably $6 to $8. And a few months ago, before COVID started ramping back up, I went to MSG to watch the Knicks lose because that's what we do. And the same raggedy bottle of water that was in a pack was now $10. Nothing changes about the water. Nothing changes about the packaging. Nothing changes about the content, the content of the bottle. The chemical composition is still H2O. Nothing changes about the bottle of water. It tastes the same whether I buy a case of 24. It tastes the same whether I'm buying it in Madison Square Garden or I'm buying it at 7-Eleven. The only thing that changes is where it's located, right? And it's not so much the physical location, but it's also the environment from where the water bottle is purchased changes. The audience changes. And when it's in the right audience, it's more valued than it is in another audience. Being valuable is important, but what's even more important is making sure your audience understands your value, right? If you are a valuable asset, if you have skills that make you extremely valuable, if you have a certain set of skills that really bring a great value to your life, if you have these great skills, but you're surrounded by people who don't recognize it, then the asset isn't useful. If you have skills as a programmer, you know how to you know different programming languages, but then you go to work in Trader Joe's behind the cash register. Those valuable skills don't have the same value here because of your environment. What we have to understand is, as we talk about Joseph, his brothers didn't recognize his value. We talked about it last week. They disliked him so much that they saw no value in his life. Their initial reaction to seeing Joseph was they were going to kill him. They were going to kill their brother. That was initial. I don't know why that makes me laugh. Probably because it's part of the soap opera. They were going to kill their brother. The previous verses said they saw him coming and decided they would kill him. So they had no value in his life. Here, it seems like they value him a little more. right? It seems like there's a slight change in heart. And instead of taking his life, they sell him. Now, this may seem like a slight step up. It may seem like they value him more because, they didn't just take his life. They valued him somewhat because, they now knew he was somewhat had somewhat value because they got something for him, I guess. But they sold him for 20 pieces of silver or 20 shekels, which, according to different, historians, is about $400 in today's value, or one pair of really nice Jordans, according to some people that I know. $400 they spent on him. And I like to think, just maybe, that human life is more valuable than $400. I like to think that what Joseph brought to the table was more valuable than $400. However, we notice that Joseph's brothers don't have a good sense of identifying value. They don't have a good understanding of identifying value. They think that that Joseph was just one in a pack of many, right? He wasn't as valuable to them. There were many different options that they could just replace Joseph with anything, or in fact, they didn't even need a Joseph in their life. The brothers didn't have a concept of value. Okay. In fact, his brothers don't even recognize or acknowledge the value of the father. They don't recognize and acknowledge Jacob's value. They faked their brother's death, and they didn't hesitate to bring that news to their father. Okay. There was no additional deliberation. Remember last week, it was funny to me that after they threw their brother in the pit, they sat down and ate. Like, there was no deliberation, no let me take a deep breath and see what happens next. They came up with this plot to sell their brother. They came up with their plot to deceive their father, and there was no hesitation from them in bringing deception to their father. There was no additional deliberation. It was like, even in Family Feud, there's additional deliberation before the team gives an answer. They didn't huddle up and start shouting things out. It was just, this is what we're going to do. We have a way to trick dad. Let's go trick him. There was no time between their motive and between their decision. There was no time between that. They didn't value their father, because they gleefully brought him deceiving news. Now there's some context there. There's some context there. Remember, there's always a previous episode. There's some context there because in the soap opera Genesis, in the Love and Hip Hop Genesis, we saw Jacob lied to his father, right? Their father lied to their grandfather, Isaac. Isaac lied. Abraham, who was his father, lied. There was a generation of liars, right? So it's not like the brothers didn't have it in them to be able to tell a good lie, right? It's not like they didn't have it in them to be able to spin a good story out of thin air. Okay. I love my children. I do. I love them. They're great children. I love them. They're fantastic children. They are two of the best. This is how you got to set it up. There are two of the best daughters anyone can ask for. But they, specifically the younger one, find it very easy to make a story up on the spot. They find it so easy to make a story up on the spot. Now, I don't know where they get it from. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe they get it from their mothers. I don't know. I have no idea where they get it from. But they both find it so easy to make something up on the spot. Because maybe in previous generations, something has been subconsciously passed down to them and not brought into alignment before it was passed down. So now they're just easy just to spin a good lie. The brothers were the same way. There was never a correction in what was happening from the previous generations. So because there was never a correction, it was easy for them to make something up, easy for them to dismiss the value of their father as they were making something up. They had it in them to be deceitful. We have to be very careful. You have to be very careful that you aren't surrounding yourself with people who don't value you enough to tell you the truth. Okay. People who don't value you enough, don't understand who you are, and don't understand the value that you hold. They don't love your life enough to be able to tell you the truth. When those around you understand your value, they will take pleasure in telling you the truth. And it doesn't matter if it's a hard truth or not. Real love doesn't get in the way of sharing a hard truth. Real love doesn't get in the way of sharing a truth that may cause you to see that there's some imperfections in you. Ephesians says this, Ephesians 4:15 in the Amplified Version says, but speaking the truth in love in all things, both our speech and our lives, expressing his truth, let us grow up in all things into him, following his example, who is the head of Christ. Their hatred for their brother was so strong that they didn't care about how the lie they were telling their father would affect him. When I respect you, when I value you, I will tell you the truth because I know it's best for you. I respect you too much to lie to you. I love you too much. I value your life too much to lie to you. And it wasn't what they call a little lie. It wasn't like they said, Joseph lost his coat, right? It was the lie was so layered and so huge. It wasn't a little small lie. They brought major devastating news in the form of a lie, in the form of a fib to their father. Even if it's the hard truth, I still have to value our relationship and value who you are enough to be able to share it with you. Relationships are grown through sharing hard truths. Relationships are built through sharing hard truths. Brothers are solidified through sharing hard truths. I value you enough. Make sure the people around you value you enough to be able to tell you the truth. So, we've established they don't value their father enough. They lie to him or fib, because I don't want to get pinched for saying lie. And they use this fib of their brother's death to discourage their father. The text says that after hearing about this favorite son, hearing about the one that he loved the most, he tore his clothes, put a sackcloth around his waist, and mourned for his son for many days. Wrapping yourself in sackcloth it was meant to show that you were in deep sorrow or you were in intense mourning. Now, he was broken, right? He was devastated. Everything he had hoped for at that time was destroyed. He still had 11 sons, But his favorite was gone. His dreamer was gone. He believed the lie from the ones who didn't value him in the first place. He didn't even check to see if everything they were saying was true. He just gave up. He quit. Now, I don't know. Maybe I don't know who it is. I don't know who's been there before. I don't know who's felt that way before, but I know someone gave up on something they knew was promised to them. Someone gave up on something that they spent a lot of time in. Someone gave up on something that they spent a lot of money on. Someone gave up on something that they put a lot of effort into, that they built up to be so great, that they built up to be so grand. And I know after building those things up, or building whatever that was up, I know they shut it down because someone close to them told them what they were building was dead. Okay. You had the business plan written out. You put everything in the right order. You prepared yourself. You had everything line item. You had a nice Excel sheet of all the things that you had set up. You had checklists all over the place. You had paperwork. You had things built up to a place that was going to be great. You knew it was on its way. But someone tore down your entire dream by feeding you a lie. They tore down everything that you thought was going to come to pass. Because they didn't value you enough to tell you the truth. So they made up some soul-crushing news just so you would give up. He got some terrible news so he would give up looking for his dreamer. He got some terrible news so he would give up looking for something he put so much effort into. I don't know who fed you this. I don't know who told you that. I don't know who gave you, made up this story to you. I don't know who gave you this screenplay that it was over. But you gave up because you got some soul-crushing news. The 13th chapter of Numbers, Moses sends out some spies or some leaders and to report back to him on the land of Canaan, right? He sends them out, and one of them, Caleb, comes back and wants to give an encouraging, a truthful report. Caleb comes back and he wants to give the truth. The text says in the 30th verse, it says this, it says, Caleb silenced the people who were complaining against Moses and said, we should attack now and take the land. We are strong enough to conquer it. But the men who had gone with Caleb said, no, we're not strong enough to attack them. The people there are more powerful than we are. So they spread a false report among the Israelites about the land they had explored. These leaders were so intimidated that they gave a false report, even though they had what they needed to be successful in the land. There are some people that don't value you enough, that are close to you, and they're intimidated by your dream. They're intimidated by your call. They're intimidated by your purpose. They're intimidated by your life, that they will lie just so that they can get you to give up. Everyone isn't willing to tell you the truth. Everyone isn't willing to support you. Everyone isn't willing to support your dream. Everyone doesn't want to see you succeed. And they will spend their time telling you anything to get you to give up on your dream. They will spend their time making things up just to see you give up. Jacob breaks down in mourning because all he knows at this time is that his dream is dead. His future is over. I want to encourage you, whatever that dream may be, whatever that future may be, that you can stop mourning now. You can stop mourning now. You can stop crying now. It failed when you got the bad information before. It failed when you got the false report before. It failed when someone didn't want to see you happy. It failed when someone didn't want to see you succeed. But God has given everything you need for your dream to come true. He's giving you everything you need for your plan to live on. You got to make sure we're surrounded by people who value you enough to tell the truth. I'm almost done. After Jacob is lied to and has those people that don't value him, his sons, crush his dream, the text says, all his sons and daughters comfort him. After Jacob is lied to by his sons who don't value him, don't value his dream, don't value his future. After, the text says that his sons and daughters tried to comfort him. The sons who just finished doing him dirty, just finishing tearing his heart out, tried to comfort him. Wouldn't it have been more comfort for them just to tell him the truth? I think it would have been more comforting for him to learn the truth instead of watching him broken down and then try to pat him on, do the whole 1, 2, 3 pat on the shoulder to make him feel a little better. They could have comforted him by letting him know that his dreamer was still alive. They could have comforted him by letting him know that the favorite son was still there. But instead, the same ones that were close to him lied to him, tried to destroy them. Then they faked their way through caring for him. They faked their way through caring for him. To quote the young Toronto native, former wheelchair Jimmy, Aubrey Drake Graham, he says, "I've been down so long, they look up to me. They look up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me." Straight up to my face. Jacob had fake people showing him fake love. He had liars lying to him about how they loved him. They were showing him fake comfort. They were just there going through the motions of comforting him. He couldn't be comforted by people who didn't value him. He couldn't be comforted by people who were lying to him. He couldn't be comforted by people who didn't really want to see the best happen to him. He had fake people surrounding him, people who didn't value him surrounding him. They're comforting him after they lied to him. They were helping him fill out insurance papers after robbing him. They were helping him with a business plan after burning down the last business. They were helping him in a new relationship after doing everything to break up the previous relationship. They were trying to fake comfort him, showing him fake love. We have to be mature enough. We have to be wise enough. We have to have good people around us that'll tell us the truth so that we'll be able to notice when someone is faking it. We have to be able to notice when someone is showing us fake love, when someone is showing us fake comfort, when someone is showing us fake friendship, because they don't value you enough. So they faked it. Jacob was getting fake love from the people who didn't love him enough to tell him the truth. I'm done. These are all about families, right? These are Jacob's sons. These are his family. Now he had some issues with how he was treating his sons because he had a favorite one, right? That was the first issue. That was the first offense. But his sons now didn't value him. I believe families should be together. Now, I don't think that Jacob's family is in any way a reflection of how families should be. Right? I don't think that's a reflection of how families should be. Families should be together. Families should be restored. We'll see in the story eventually how this family is restored. But it had to go through a time when there was fakeness, when there was lies, when there was anger, when there was hurt. And I don't know where you are in that journey. I don't know if you're at the place where you've been, where everything is fine now and everything is restored and redemption has already happened. I don't know if you're at the place where, you're still in the hurting process. But I want to encourage you because yes, this process may hurt. But one of the main principles of the ministry is that you have to be able to acknowledge the truth. And once the truth is in the open, once you're able to open up about some of those things that has hurt you in the past, you'll be able to grow to a place where you're able to live out in full redemption and full restoration and just being free of those issues and free of those pains. So you may be going through that hurt right now where you're surrounded by people who don't value you, where you're surrounded by people who are comfortable with lying to you, people who know how to show you some fake love and some fake friendship. But once you get over some of those issues, once you have some of these things out in the open, and you start to acknowledge the truth and deal with the pain and deal with the pain of your truth, relationships can be restored. Redemption can happen. So I thank God for Joseph's story on tonight. We're still talking about Joseph. We just really getting started and talking about his family. We'll go more into depth on Joseph on next week. I hope that you join us on next week. Listen, if anything that has said tonight, really affected you, I want you to do a few things for me. A few things. The most important thing is allow what God shared tonight to have an impact on your life. That's the most important thing, right? That's the most important thing. The other thing I would like for you to do, if anything has affected you or impacted you, is share the message with someone else. Let them know about what happens here on Friday night at 7 p.m. at Life Empowerment Center. The other thing I would like for you to do is below you'll see a text number. You can text the word BETTER, BETTER, and the letter U to 474747, and that'll keep you connected with us here in Life Empowerment Center in New Jersey. So those are the things that I would like for you to do for me. You can also, if you would like to, you can also make a donation. The Cash App is LECINJ. And those are just the things. And if you enjoyed us tonight, if you enjoyed the teaching on tonight, please join us again next week. We're going to go into some more talking about Joseph, revealing his life and how we can apply some of the principles that we saw in Joseph's life, how we can apply some of those things to our life today. So I thank you so much for joining us. I pray that God will keep you. And I want you to never forget, you're blessed people, that life change begins with you. Stay blessed.